What's up, everyone? My name is Blaine O'Rourke. I'm here with Daniel Ronberg and Kevin Keep. I'm a 25-year-old entrepreneur. I sold my business. I've done business my whole life, right? I give a little bit of a different perspective. I'm unapologetically myself. I don't give a damn, right? We got Daniel Ronberg here. He's an amazing father, author, husband. He has a massive business that he's actually about to purchase and to own the full business. It's called Nation's First Financial. Very successful. We're not going to talk about numbers, but know they're up. Okay, everyone? We got Mr. Kevin Keep. This is just one of his products of, what, hundreds, it sounds like?
Yeah, we got quite a few.
Very, very successful entrepreneur in the multiple nine figures. I mean, we're looking at, there's just many products on the table that do very well. He's a master at manufacturing. Sounds like engineering as well. He's a genius in everything.
I have an amazing team behind me.
He's amazing at what he does. So today we're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about breakups. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about great adversity and all these awesome things. You guys get to hear all these different walks of life. And we're excited, and I hope you guys like it. Give us a like and a comment.
Burnout.
Oh, man.
You know, burnout is like...
You said the best quote on burnout, dude. And I have to share this with you, Kevin, dude. I had a deep talk with Daniel, and he basically told me, he said you have to shorten your emotional refractory periods. So it's a mindset of like, how long will you let yourself sit underwater before you come up for a breath?
Yeah.
So like if you have a tragedy or something bad, how long are you going to wallow in it?
100%.
Or are you going to be able to get, okay, that happened, now I got to get back on the horse.
Yeah.
Like, and it's that time period that it's like, that's like our control in the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's like with some people, that emotional refractory period will last years.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people won't get out of that funk and they'll dwell in it and they constantly go deeper into it and like, woe is me. And I always, I hate to say this, like, suck it up, buttercup. Like, okay,
yeah.
Jonathan and I were talking on the way over here. It sucks.
Yeah.
Bad things happen, there's always that saying, bad things happen to good people. Well, let's be real. There really is no such thing as a good person from a biblical standpoint, okay?
Yeah.
And my ground always comes from a biblical base.
Right.
So, so bad things happen to good people. Why? Okay, it really isn't.
You guys are good.
It's so momentarily.
Yeah, keep going. Do we want this light on, by the way? Is this like
No, keep it off.
Keep it off?
Oh, wait, turn back on.
How does it look on there?
Looks pretty good.
Oh, looks good.
Yeah, keep it on. Yeah.
All right. I'm not trying to do a free plug or anything. It's just that we've got it.
Free
there.
plug.
Do a free plug.
Yeah.
Your house, it's your business.
But I mean, that's not what this is about. It's not about nation. It's about helping men.
But it is. But that's part of
multi-million-dollar
the
business.
process.
Yeah, it could be.
Multi-millions of dollars.
So yeah, please continue on that.
No, I mean crap happens. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose when you wake up in the morning. Are you going to be better from it or bitter from it? What's that decision process? And it really starts in the morning. What's it going to be like? And for me, I always say, I wake up in the morning like, I'm going to start my day off being better. How can I be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday? Now, some days I might make it to the bathroom before something happens. Kick the dog, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Sometimes I might make it all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've got to focus on the positive and not the negative. We dwell so much on the negative. You were talking earlier that marketing is about fear, right? Scaring people into they need this. Without this, you're not going to be somebody. Why do we have the American Express Black Card? Why do we have elite clubs? Why do we have all this? Because we all want to be liked. We all want to feel important.
Yeah, it's status.
It's status.
Yeah.
And so when you have those moments, Jonathan and I were talking about on the way over here is like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? How deep of that root are you going to go into? Of why does that affect you that way? Why am I affected because Daniel said something that offended me? Where does that come from? Is it really what you said that offends me? Or is it because of something that's farther down the road that rubbed me the wrong way that I'm still living in that?
Yeah. I feel like that's a superpower. Like if you can let somebody say something to you and you're truly at a place in your heart where it just doesn't impact you, to me, I mean, that's like where we all want to eventually get to.
Well, yeah.
Because then we take our power back and we're not constantly giving away our ability to create to things that are trivial. Somebody says one little thing by acting, you're
like set off.
And and it hurts you and you're like, you just wasted all this time, we're talking
really
about,
like, what's it going to do? Like, you wasted more time being angry about something.
Yeah. And
it really only affects you.
Yeah.
Like I always tell everybody, forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself. You forgive that other person for you. So you're not dwelling on that and not holding on to that. not allowing that pain to affect you anymore.
Yeah.
And we talked about that in relationships.
Yeah, let go.
You just gotta let go. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, people are gonna be people.
That's where people have control over you.
Uh-huh.
If you are mad at someone or bitter with somebody, they have complete control over your mind.
You're 100%.
They control you up and down, 100%.
What's that saying? Like, love me and I live in your heart, but hate me and I live in your mind forever, or something like that. It's like,
I've never heard that, but that's a good quote.
Yeah,
That's so true. Like,
No,
if
it's so
someone
true.
hates you, and it's kind of like, I try to tell a lot of men this. Like, it's like, dude, if you have a girl that you were in a relationship with, or maybe, a friend, and you were genuinely a good person, like, because there's a lot of people who walk around like, I was a good person. Were you? If you were a good person,
self-awareness.
If you were truly the best version of yourself you could be, and you could look back and be like, I was the best, and that opposing party hates you, because you'll meet people like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys have met people, right, where you're like a good person, but they still hate you. It's like, dude, I live in your mind rent free, brother. Like, thank you. Like, this is awesome. Like, I wish you the best, and I hope you figure it out. That's
But I
my
think that's
take
like
on
we were
it.
talking about with Jonathan. Is like, do we really want that, or how can we help that person be free from that?
You know what I
mean?
I've wondered that too. I don't think you can help them.
Well, I mean,
because
I guess my arrogance says that we can make an impact and a difference in people.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be willing to die to self and choose the right path.
Yeah.
And a lot of time we don't understand what that means to die to ourselves. You read it in the Bible, you hear, you must die to yourself daily and da da da. What does that really look like in practical terms of the world of today?
I think it looks like you can't help someone who's not ready to receive.
Okay.
I think that's just the best way to explain it. Because you could sit in front of somebody forever, and Daniel and you and I talk about this. There's so much information he'll give me, and I'm like, I'm open, I'm ready. 2 years ago, one ear and out the damn other.
Yeah.
It would have nothing. It'd be like talking to a, I don't know, deluded goat.
Wall.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just you're just not there. And so there's some people in life, you could literally sit there and just tell them exactly what they need to hear, but they're not going to listen. And so
where does that live in their mind moving forward?
So
I think it went in one ear and out the other.
This is where I think it happens, right? I believe, and I could be wrong. I really want to hear your guys' opinion on this. I believe that if you look at somebody and you give them advice, right, that's the right thing to do for all people, no matter what situation they're in. Even if they're a bad person, you give them the benefit of the doubt. But if they cut your hand off, stop, because I was telling you this while we were eating. It's like in life, you're on a raft, right, and you're looking at the island. That's where I want to go. That's where my life, my abundant life is at, right? And there's all these people on this journey floating in the water, right? And I like to think I'm a good person, just like all yourselves. And I always am putting my hand out for people. I'm like, here. And then you got people in the water cutting your hand off. And they're like, thanks for bringing me on for a sec, but I'd rather drown. And you've told them what they need to know, but at some point there's this self-love that has to kick in gear. And you're like, you chose to drown.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what comes to mind when you're saying all this is I always think about, I don't know if you guys have ever had anybody close in your life that has struggled with drugs. Mm-hmm. And it's like you just want to pull them out of it so bad that you're just helping. And you're like, dude, eventually you gotta want this more than I want this
100%.
for you. And that always messes with me because it's it's so hard to come to terms with that. And I think that's kind of interesting because it does tie into if you're not in a season of life where you're ready to receive, you do kind of miss out on some of the gifts. And I think as Christians, that happens to us all the time.
All the time.
We're constantly missing out on the gifts.
I think a lot of times that's our arrogance. You know what I mean? We miss out on the things that, you hear this, the sayings, stop and smell the roses and stuff. Sometimes we're so busy and consumed with everything, we forget to slow down and see the gifts that God really has planned for us. And we walked right by them.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Those moments in time, those divine appointments, Jonathan or whatever those things are of, man, I don't know, I'm busy and it's like you just don't know.
That one hits home for me so hard because I have a coworker that I've worked with for 10 years and she's so sweet and she's told me for 10 years, Daniel, stop and smell the roses. And it was just like Blaine was saying, it's just in one ear out the other. I'm like, yeah, I know. And just recently I'm like, I get it. I'm starting to get a different perspective. She's right. This stuff's going to go by quick. Having kids. Yeah. That was a big part of it.
Different dynamic.
Yeah.
And having kids, having 6 myself, and from, basically 12 to 22, I've been there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can't phase me until after 22.
Yeah.
And from there, I just go back to my own stupid reflections of
Right.
my own stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, and...
Were you stupid at 22?
Oh, man.
Who was it?
Dude, like, I mean, we had a conversation where we were on the phone with my mom the other day, and Hector was like, you know, trying to quiz her on, what was he really like? Did he do this? And she's like, you know, all the things he thought when I was a kid. He's like, no, his room was always clean. He really did this and really did.
That's so
and I'm
funny.
like, click, you know? Like, thanks, Mom. I owe you $20.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, my favorite Saturday Night Live skit of all time is there's this scene where it's a mom and she's lecturing her daughter.
Yep.
And she's like, I can't believe you went out and partied. And then it keeps flashing back to when she was a kid.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like way worse. Like she's
Oh, yeah.
like running down the street like drunk and like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God, it's such a good skit. Like, but it's so true. Like,
Well, we talk about it all the time that I'm older than you guys.
Yeah.
But what I did when I was younger, those age, was mischievous.
Yeah.
Now it's criminal.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It is. I mean, the things we did was mischievous.
Wait, give us something that you did.
Yeah, like what's an
I want to
example
hear
of that?
something that you did that was like, now you'd go to prison for it.
We won't go there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Don't wanna
statute of
incriminate
limitations
yourself.
are right now. on some
Yeah.
of these
Hang on,
things.
I'm gonna call my attorney real quick. I
Yeah,
don't know
let's
if I
call
can
the
do this
attorney
anymore.
again. Let me
Yeah.
verify to see if I can do this. You know, and I told you my past. You know, I
Yeah.
was involved in dealing drugs and different things, and
Right.
on crazy levels and stuff. And you know, we did stupid things. I mean, running from the cops, you know, was fun and mischievous, and pulling in a driveway and hiding, turning off all the lights and stuff. Well, nowadays those are like felony
Yeah.
things. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
a
mean?
big
Back
deal.
then, the cops, it was slap on the hand, don't be a stupid kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All those things. But the world of today is a camera everywhere. Everywhere you turn, everybody has a cell phone. You know, I hate those videos you watch. Someone's in a car on fire, and people are filming it. Like,
Yeah.
my Lord have mercy on my soul.
Yeah.
Like, drop your stupid camera and get out there, and you know what? You might get burned, but you're saving a life.
That's a great
Yeah.
marketing tactic, though. I hate to point that out and cut you off, but I hate to say it, but our bodies are biologically driven to fear. Have you ever noticed when you drive by a wreck or a fire, like your head's turning 90 degrees?
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think
Immediately.
traffic happens because of stuff?
Right. Everybody's, you know.
Again,
It's fear.
Looking at
people are flight or fight.
Yeah.
You're doing one or the other. Most people are the flight. They don't want nothing to do with it. It's not my problem. I don't want to get involved because the world has created all this fear of the legal system. I mean, people can get sued for starting CPR and not finishing, and the person dies.
That's
You know,
insane.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. You
I've
open
never-
your phone and it's like every other video is some new thing that came out to scare you.
100%.
We live in. I don't know if I mentioned this to you or Jonathan, but I believe the U.S. is it's just like we live in a society that everyone has an anxiety disorder. Like everybody.
Yeah.
Like everyone's walking around just in that. And you're right, the flight mode. They're just like,
And see, and I choose not to
scared.
live in that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
You can't.
You
I
ha-
choose.
you have to.
I'm gonna
You
fight
can't.
mode. In fact, that's
Yeah.
where the aggressor,
Yeah.
style clothing comes in. Is
I like that.
to be that, to be
Yeah.
that aggressor, to change the mentality of like, we are here for a purpose.
Right.
We're not on this earth for just our own selfish gain and all that stuff. God has a purpose for each one of us. I don't care whether it's to be the trash guy, to be Donald Trump as the president, whatever it is, we all have a purpose. And we have to live in that purpose. But, you know, the Bible talks about, you know, love your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. You know, well, there's so much in that little clip of, A, loving God, first and foremost, who he is and who we're not. 2, loving your neighbor as yourself. Loving others, putting them first, dying to yourself. Probably one of the most important for me in that is loving yourself. Because if you don't love yourself and you're not healthy, you can't help anybody.
Right.
You can't love anybody until you truly love yourself. And we live in this social media fast, fake image of what we're trying to portray. And it's like, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear this
You know?
from you guys. What are some things that you guys have done to the listeners listening to combat your fears? What are some things?
Well, like Kevin said earlier, one of the things that's a daily practice for me is waking up and choosing who I'm going to be that day, right?
100%.
And so I'll start almost every day, and the days I don't, I can feel the difference.
Right?
But when I get up, I make commitment to myself that I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to talk to God. I'm going to spend some time in prayer. I'm going to reaffirm the man I want to be that day, the husband I want to be that day, and I just like head it straight on. You know, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to. It's like removing an objection before it's an objection, right? Like instead of me waking up to my subconscious and those fears that are automatically programmed, those automatic negative thoughts that kick in, and being like, hey, oh, you got this big meeting today. Oh, you got this big thing today. You're not good enough. You're not. I try to get out in front of that and go, hey, look, I think Tony Robbins calls it like priming your day.
Correct.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna be intentional about who I am and be confident and walk in that. And if I control it, then I can get a handle on it. But if not, it controls me. You know, it's not it that has me, it's me that has it, and that's how it has to be. Otherwise, yeah, your fears will drive you and they'll limit you.
So what are some of the things when you wake up, like walk me through, because you've shared this with me, but it has to be shared to the world. Like it's so good, guys. Like this, what Daniel told me, literally, not only I would say saved my life, but it changed my life.
Well, God put that on my heart to share with you, and God also shared that content with me through a great doctor who is incredible. But I appreciate that.
It put me in a headspace.
What's the question? What do you want me to share?
I'll say this. Anyone listening, it put me in a headspace. I'm not gonna lose. I'm gonna tell you that right the fuck now.
I'm not gonna lose. Okay, so on Christmas Eve we sat here.
It's so powerful.
On Christmas Eve we sat here, and Blaine and I have had this mission of helping to reach more people and you know, help people with where they're at and their fears in retirement and helping them to grow from there. And so we're sitting here, and Blaine was kind of just retelling me this story of something really traumatic that had happened to him, and it was messed up. I mean, it was hard. And I was kind, I listened, but then I just said, look, man, you're becoming a professional at telling me this trauma. I was like, I said, in order for us to get to where we got to go, I need you up here. Yeah. Like, we got to change your energy. So we started talking about, I'm like, what are the things that are floating around in your mind? What are the things that you're telling yourself that aren't true? What are these fixed beliefs, these limited beliefs that you're living by? I was like, man, we got to get to an abundant mindset, and we got to get to a growth mindset for us to reach it together. Because I'm vibrating up here, and I'm like, I need you with me. And then when we're connected, then
the power is there.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, 100%.
You just walk into it, right? So we started talking about, okay, what are the things I'm telling myself every day that aren't true? Oh man, this is hard. This isn't working right. Let's flip that around. Mm-hmm. Man, we're so blessed. We're so abundant. We're so healthy. And dude, I saw him change
overnight.
In an instant.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Like literally, I saw the energy change in him, and then he's walked as a different man since. And it's not me; it's the Lord who just literally came in and was like, but he was ready to receive it. Yeah. You know, and that's what I think he was talking about in the beginning. Is like, if you're not ready to hear it, it's hard to have that.
Well, that's different. I mean, that's the same with an alcoholic, drug addict, or any of those things. Until they're willing to move past that.
Yeah.
You know,
you're done. You're stuck. You're stuck in the time. Mm-hmm. This is the most important thing that I've learned. The sun always keeps shining, and if you go through something traumatic or something happens in life and you're stuck in that time frame, you could be stuck in it for the rest of your life.
People are, dude.
Yeah.
What are some of those movies that are out there where it's the day comes over and Groundhog Day, and it's like there's Groundhog, or the one girl I can't remember her name, is an actress where every day she has to learn who she is. You know,
50 First Dates,
50 First Dates, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but it is your mindset. You have to be prepared that, you know, for me, I was talking to Jonathan literally on the way over here, that I know my final destination. I'm not made for this world. I'm literally made to be in heaven with Christ. So my final destination, no matter what happens to me here on earth, I know where I'm going. I'm confident in what I have and where I'm going to be. So whatever happens in between, it's momentary. Whether it's 40 years of momentary or whether it's 40 minutes, it's still momentary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, in the grand picture of things in life.
I think what you explained helped me be more present, because it made me realize, like, this is so true. Like, what happened in the past does not exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, it is non-existent. So, like, if you think about this, like, if you look on a whiteboard and, like, you write out all your problems that happened in the past, like, you could pick up the eraser and choose to erase them. I'm sitting in a room with a cat on my lap next to Daniel Romberg, next to Kevin, and that's what's happening.
Yeah,
that's my reality.
Yeah,
right. But there's so many people who are caught, and this is why you changed my life, bro. It's like you literally pulled me out of what I was doing in my consciousness. Was I was just rewriting something that didn't exist in the present.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, like I can erase it, and I hope anyone listening to this like understands that, like, you can erase it. You can do it right now.
It's
instant.
The
instant.
And this is all Dr. Joe, right? So he always says, like, the act of creation can be blissful, but people often wait for crisis to make a change.
100%.
Oh,
And so Blaine and I were talking, and I'm like, dude, Dr. Joe teaches us that the human brain thinks about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. So if you keep thinking those same old thoughts, your life's not going to change very much, and your subconscious is running 95% of that day. So I'm like, we got to get with the conscious. We got to figure out what is your subconscious playing, and how do we get it to become your best friend instead of your worst enemy.
What's that movie that just came out? Number 2, was it The Little Girl or whatever? Oh my gosh, I'm terrible with movie names.
I know, we just talked about that.
We just talked about that.
I don't know.
Because I'm terrible with movie names, but it's that they're all the little puppeteers inside of her head and all that.
Oh, yeah, it's Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, my girls love it.
I mean, it's like it's so true of
Yeah.
all those different emotions and things, and you know, you've got to defragment your brain and get rid of that crap and get back to the positive side.
Yeah.
Get rid of all that crap that's out there that's taking up space that shouldn't be there.
Right.
Clean it up and get back to those positive things. And it's a mind, like you said, it's a mindset. Changing your mind to focus on the positive and not the negative.
And we're not trained that way.
No.
School doesn't teach.
Nobody-
It teaches
no.
you to lean towards
Yeah.
the bad.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest
Oh,
too.
you're terrible. You got an F.
Yeah,
And
like-
now look, I'm not a woke one that says everybody needs an award or anything. I'm far from that.
Yeah.
There's winners and there's losers.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people don't
Meritocracy.
find themselves. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. I'm not on that
Yeah.
side. But society does train you that well, it's okay. You know, if you made these mistakes, da 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 da. No, you have to change.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? You know, once, you know, shame on you, twice shame on me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got to get past that and move on.
And it's it's easy to say that, but with the problem that I see with a lot of people, and this is what we were talking about that night on Christmas Eve, it's like some people fall in love with romancing the past so much more than their future. Right? It's like you could be in a place, and we talked about this. I'm like, hey, instead of suffering, being in the river of suffering, you're in the river of hope, and you're dreaming about what your life's going to be like, and the amazing things, and the relationships, and the love. Like, you can live in that place just as easily as you can live in the pain.
Easier probably because you're going to positive side. You're
feels
excited
better.
about
But
it.
this is important. I do
Yeah.
want to mention this, and this is something you can probably relate with heavy. And any people or listeners who've gone through a divorce or child custody case or something, the toughest thing about that shit is you have to relive it.
100%.
That's the hardest thing about it, because you know when you get out of a relationship, right? Like, if my previous stuff, like I'll get out of a relationship, I'm like, I wish you the best, right?
Yeah.
I don't look at nothing. I'm not talking to you. I'm going to live my life, and the healing process is so amazing.
Oh yeah.
But when it relates to divorces or men or women who go through, like, dude, you could relive it for 3 years straight. Because you're going through text messages, you're talking to lawyers, you're like, this happened on this, and you're like, God damn it, like, why the fuck do I have to keep thinking about this?
Yeah.
And so that's actually been the toughest thing. So for all the people who are going through stuff like that, like, I feel you, and this mindset is the thing that changes it. It's like, yes, get through it. Yes, go through the court stuff. Yes, document the stuff that you need to. You know, be strong-headed. Be that man, you know? But then, once it's done, it doesn't exist. It's done. You have to cut ties with it, because if you don't, you know, then it just lasts forever, man. I saw it happen to and I don't even want to get personal, but it did happen to my dad.
Yeah.
My dad hates my mom, dude. And I'm like, Dad, we gotta get over this,
It'll
man.
define you, for
like,
sure.
it will literally change
You can't allow it to define you. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. For me,
Like,
you know, I'll get personal. So, I mean, I was married 25 years. You know, still in the final stages of the divorce. Nothing I've ever wanted,
Right.
but the hard choices had to be made. I look at the positive. You know, going through literally every box, every photo album, everything, giving her.
oh, that shit is horrible.
Oh, dude.
I hate that.
Oh my God.
You have to
know,
relive it. It
25
sucks.
years, I have to relive it for the next 3 months of going through, you know, all the wedding albums, the photo albums, the
Oh, dude,
pictures
it's
on the
torture.
wall. It is. It's brutal. You look at
Oh,
all
man.
of those memories that
Yeah,
you
you
have.
have to.
But so I can
It's-
I can go in that situation and I can be bitter. And I can be like, F this, screw this is terrible, that, da-da-da-da-da. And for me, I look at it as like, wow, man, we had an awesome time. That was a great memory. You know what I mean? Plus, I've got my boys that are sitting here. You know, now we have some jokes, you know what I mean, from time to time.
Of course, yeah.
We had a couple where we got in trouble because she was over there picking up some stuff, and my son had a picture of our wedding. He's like, hey, we could just cut it out, you know what I mean? And she got all mad, and I'm like, it was funny at the moment.
Yeah.
But you look at that, and it's like, I'm not going to look at her as a terrible person. She made bad decisions that affected our family for the rest of our life. But I can't discount the amazing memories I have. The 6 beautiful children that I have.
Yeah.
We had amazing memories. I mean, trips, crazy things, building companies, losing everything, building it all back up together. Like, most people never would have survived that.
Right.
You know, and we survived that, you know, through those things. And that's, I think, where some of the hardest things when going through a divorce is.
That's it.
Don't be bitter. I'm not bitter.
You can't be bitter.
I literally sat across the breakfast from her the other day, and, you know, before I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean, just couldn't wait. And I was just quiet, you know what I mean? I was like, because nothing I do, I have 2 boys that were sitting there. I have to model something different to them. That you can get through this. It's okay. I'm going to choose to be better through this and not bitter. Yeah. Because I look at the positive. I look at those boys that are sitting there. They are a result of both of us. I couldn't have had them without her. She couldn't have had them without me. And we have amazing memories. I have the businesses. I have all of these things that we have. You know?
Well,
so
there's got to be some peace. Sorry to cut you off. There's some
coming off. I'll talk forever.
There's some peace in knowing, and this is like a psychology tactic, I think, in knowing, like, genuinely, if somebody's wrong. Like, you don't have to say anything. Like, if someone was really just not a good person, man, and they did you dirty, like, I don't have nothing to say, because it's like...
Was it not a good person, or they made a bad choice?
No, just...
So, I mean...
That's a loaded question, because I'm on air. But like, I personally...
So am I.
Yeah, I think that's just hard to answer, because I don't think people choose to be bad people. I think that their
100%.
parents are the result of them not knowing that they're being a bad person.
You don't think... I mean, I can tell you, for me, I can choose to be bad.
Yeah.
I can make a very conscious decision to be a bad person. We can all make those decisions.
Yeah. That is a good point. But I'll say this, because there's some people I've met in my life. You're right. Like, you should know. You should know.
We all know right and from wrong. That's an instinct that God has put into us from the moment we come out of the womb. Yeah. Probably before. We know right from wrong.
Well, then maybe they're just pieces of shits and they know. So I don't know.
I'm just saying, you make a bad decision, whether it's information you got that was incorrect that someone persuaded you, you willingly knowing because out of stubbornness and arrogance. I mean, we know when we make bad decisions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to let people off the hook and say, well, you're just a bad person. No. Because we're all bad. God clearly says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Without Him, none of us can get to heaven. So there's no such thing as a good person. We're all bad.
Yeah.
Some are redeemed, some are not.
Those are the worst type of people. The people who act like they're perfect. Oh, those are the worst type of people you want.
And I've been that person.
Yes,
I've been that person.
Everybody.
I have too.
Yeah.
But there's this point in your life where you have to realize this. It's so funny. Like, just living in the U.S., you see this all over social media. People will die to not take accountability before they take accountability.
Jonathan, I just had this conversation.
They will die before they have to be sat on the stage and be like, "Yep, I made a mistake." And the secret to this is, it's like you get freedom, peace of mind, love, empathy, like all the joy of the frequency of awesomeness when you just tell the truth. Because you know what, I fucking lied before.
We all have.
And so it's like the moment you can sit there and be like, you know what, I did this. It's now gone, and you now are a new person. But people who can't go there, dude, they suffer the rest
100%
of their life. That's also what's
it eats at you. It's the cancer we call at it.
Yeah, it's literally cancer.
You know,
it destroys their life. It destroys their relationship. Destroys
everything.
their business. It literally everything from A to Z in life.
Dude, I made horrible decisions that caused her to want to leave me. I mean, I wasn't a nice guy. Wow. I was an asshole. You know what I mean? My way or the highway. I used to walk around and I'm the king of the castle. You know what I mean? I was arrogant. I mean, I made some bad decisions. Were those warrant enough for a divorce? No. You know what I mean? Our biggest fight is, she always says, well, you told me to leave. You know what I mean? And my always come back is, I told you a lot of things. I told you to give me sex every day. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, you chose to listen to that one.
Wait. I want to talk about that. How do people in relationships, when it comes to, and if I push this too far, Dan, we can cut this.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, but like,
this will be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, but like, when you're in a relationship, and like, what are your guys' thoughts on like a woman withholding sex from a man knowing?
So now you just defined something. So relationship.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have sex.
Are you talking about marriage?
Marriage.
Okay.
We'll talk about marriage.
I mean, You're not married, so I'm going to ask that question.
I think we should focus on marriage because that's where it really becomes.
That's the only place sex is warranted.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Everything
we'll focus
else
on marriage,
is-
but I've seen this consistent problem. Like, I've met people in marriages for a long time, right? And they'll just be like, I'm not having sex. And I'm like...
Absolutely unbiblical.
If the woman's withholding the sex?
A woman cannot... This was my fight in the marriage, is withholding sex from me. Because the Bible's crystal clear on it. You are not to withhold sex from a man unless it's during a period of fasting.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why do you think... That's actually interesting that it's fasting. Why... We're talking really personal. So stop me if this is too personal.
You can never get too personal.
Why do you think in her head she was withholding the sex? What do you think if we could put our minds, which is going to be difficult, but like if we put our heads in her head, why do you think she was doing that?
Why do I think most women do that?
Or most women, yeah.
Because it's power and control. It's a fight for power. That's the thing that they have control over us as men. Most men, not all, because I don't want to generalize at all, but most, statistically, psychologically, physical touch is their love language.
Women?
No,
men.
Oh, men.
Men, physical touches are...
Words of affirmation, too?
Words of affirmation are there, but
I'm words of affirmation for sure. Yeah, I'm like
love
totally
when
with
it
it.
comes up.
But most men are physical touch.
Yeah.
Okay? And so I'm physical touch and words of affirmation. You don't need to buy me a gift because, no offense, I'll go buy it if I want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, not to be
Rich
arrogant. It's just
problems.
like, I'm just picky.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a yellow plaid shirt. I want a brown.
Right.
But I mean,
Yeah. Well, and plus words to me just move me so much because it just touches a place from my childhood where I'm like, I didn't get a lot,
Dude,
and see, for me, it's physical touch. Like, if you come up behind me and you put your arms around me and give me a hug and a kiss, like my meter goes, beep! And then, obviously, sex is a love language that in marriage is godly. It's actually an act of worship, as a married couple. Now, outside of that, no, not at all.
Why do you think that women find themselves in a place where they want to be in that controlling nature, knowing that could be jeopardizing to their marriage?
Well, and I have a slightly different take on it.
We'll go through both of them.
Yeah, because, and I don't know that it's different. It's just I think about it in a different way. Like, I agree 100%. Like, you look at, like, the Song of Songs, right? Like, clearly, sex is, like, a part of the...
Solomon?
Song of Solomon, yeah, where, like, I mean, if you read that, you're like, wow, that's...
Well, that whole is a very erotic book in the Bible.
Yeah, and
most churches won't teach on it with children around.
Right. And, like, obviously, like, I do agree that sex is a biblical thing and that God creates us to enjoy that pleasure together and encourages us through the bond of marriage to explore and have fun and make it really pleasurable. I think where women withhold it is, yes, they do have the control over that because men are thinking about it 24/7 and women
you get arrested if you force yourself home.
right, yeah, that's not good.
No, that's terrible.
Right, that's bad. But I think, honestly, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, and we're in different phases of life, and you have much more experience in this than me, but I think, like, when it comes to women withholding sex, honestly, I think it goes back to that accountability thing of, like, how are you showing up for her to, want to give herself to you? So
that's what I was going to get into. So
it's like,
both.
Right.
It's how do you show up in that? So the reason why they're withholding most of the time is because they're not being loved the way they need to be loved.
That's what I was thinking.
And that takes both of us.
A really specific question for you.
Okay.
And it was why do you think women make a decision to withhold sex from men in marriage from a controlling perspective, knowingly that it will ruin their marriage?
Do they know it's going to ruin their marriage?
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe they don't think it's going to ruin their marriage. And the other thing, too,
maybe they think it's about a power of control, that if I can get him and not give him this, he'll realize my point of view.
But do they realize that that's a path of destruction?
No, they don't. And I think that's where divorces are so prevalent in the world of today.
Hey, point your mic towards your face. Just point
my mic towards my face. Okay, man. Everybody got this? Okay.
Sorry, I just had
we're real here in real life, but we're not going to do any editing here.
But
no, I'm gonna cut a lot.
There's another. There's seasons of this because there's different parts of your marriage. Right? Like, you could speak to this because you were married for 25 years. I've only been married.
Still technically married.
I've only been married for 10 years, so not even close to half the time. And like, for example, like. And I think it depends on if women are working, stay-at-home moms. There's all kinds of factors, and here's why I say that. Because sometimes, like, at the end of the day, when Jen's had 2 kids all over her all day, the last thing she wants is for me to come home and be like, hey, babe, and be intimate, because she's like, I'm overstimulated. And so there's some of that too. I mean, so it's not just like always a control standpoint. Sometimes it's like she's just not there standpoint, right?
But where do you think the limit is? Like, if you're in a marriage, like, I think at least once a week.
So technically, physiologically, and if we have some doctors call in or whatever, the studies that I have read, a man's level is less than 72 hours. That release needs to be.
So every 3 days you got to be.
You get to have sex.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's basically, in my opinion.
So that's why I say a week.
And but a week that's not enough for a typical man.
Well,
from a physiological
but on a schedule
standpoint.
that makes sense.
So here's the deal. So I'm gonna go real hard because you opened up a question that's very sensitive for me. So I'm gonna give you the real. I've studied this, like intently because this was our biggest fight.
Yeah,
this was it. It wasn't over. We had money. We had stuff. You have to go back to remember, and I mean no disrespect to women or to your wife or anything.
Yeah,
but the kids are here and gone for a season. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know they're around for a lifetime, but they're going to get married and go and do their own things. We're still going to be here. The damage that's done in that 18 to 20 years for the lack of attention for the man, God gave you a very specific order. Him, your husband, then the kids. So I understand she's had the kids all over her all day and all that stuff. And I don't mean to be mean, but that just maybe is one of those days that it doesn't happen.
Right.
But that can't be an everyday excuse.
Oh, yeah.
We have 6 kids.
And to clarify, I was talking about a totally different thing, like a one-off situation.
Yeah, that's a one-off.
It's a one-off. Not like you're talking about a situation.
But that becomes, in most marriages, that becomes the excuse. Well, I'm tired. I have a headache. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
All of these things. That's not it. Because what it does for the man is it tears him down. Well, maybe I'm not loved. Maybe she doesn't respect what I provide for this family. Maybe she doesn't do this stuff. And that's really not the message she's saying. She's really saying, I'm tired. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
She's really saying that. But that's not okay.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair to us.
Yeah.
As a man. That's our love language. If you want us to love you and continue to do that, now you're going to go through moments and seasons. But most damages and studies that go out there are the man is not getting his needs filled. The woman is not getting their needs filled.
Yeah.
And that's where the dying to self comes in. But clearly the Bible is crystal clear on that.
Yeah.
That a woman is not to withhold sex from her husband.
Yeah.
Period.
That makes
it
sense.
doesn't say, if she's this or she had trauma or all these things and all that stuff. I get all that stuff.
Can I give my view on it?
Because
it's going to be completely different from your guys's. So I think this makes it so much.
Well, you're a single guy,
but you're single now.
So
so you really shouldn't have a view on
that. We're just gonna edit this out anyway.
So this is gonna be a great time to see where you're coming from.
Well, I will say this because I have been in some long relationships. I've never been married, but I will say that like through my experience, like I did grow up with a dad who was very, very like into like he was like pushed towards like sleep with women. I was not trained with the right things. I'll be honest, and I've had to unlearn some of these things. But I will say there's pros and cons to it, right? As to being very outgoing, not being scared to approach women, things like that. What I've learned from my experience is I feel like aside from a woman begging to be mothered, women want to be mothers. They love that. It's their internal instinct.
They want to be mothered or want to be motherly?
They want to be a mother.
A mother. Okay.
Yeah. And so, but what I've learned is women want to have fun. They just want to have fun. Like
you sound like Cyndi Lauper.
No, like
girls just want to have fun.
No, but they like.
That's our era.
Like, have you ever like I noticed this when we went out with you and your wife. Remember that sand dune place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you were ordering food for your wife, and I go, "Are you going to order?" And she goes, "He knows what I want." I go, "I don't think about it." And I was like, "They just want that. Yeah, they don't want to have to think." Like, and there's times and places for it. This isn't all women. But like, I feel like if you can provide an experience for your woman where she can shut her brain off, dude, think about it, man. Like, if you go on social media, every woman is like, you said men have insecurities. Think about them.
Yeah.
Like, you have women with fake bodies, fake lips, fake faces, fake chins,
fake boobs, fake
well,
butts,
there's
fake
software where you can like
everything.
change the photo.
Like,
yeah,
the comparison that women are in right now is hell. I thought about that. I'm trying to have some empathy for women here, and so like women are going through a lot. You know, like
100%.
they're all trying to be Barbie, Botox lips, and it's a topic of conversation. I mean, what is Ozempic? I mean, it's everywhere. You know, so. I think from a perspective is like if you can get your woman to like shut her brain off and just give her fun, be like, hey, like, don't even just hit her with this like, we're going out. Where are we going? Let me surprise you. And then you just like give her like this thrill. It kind of like zones her out from all the hell that the world's going, and it kind of makes them like horny.
But that's unfortunately it does.
No, like literally, and they're like, oh shit, like
it's
this
a
guy.
Well, that's how they feel love.
Of like that's how they feel love. Is they don't want. Like, I swear I always joke, I'm going to open up a restaurant that I don't care, or you pick, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always, they don't want to think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But too many men, so now we back up, well, I'm afraid to make a decision, because if I make the wrong decision, then I'm not going to get laid tonight.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So
wait, what do you mean? You said...
So, like, you make a decision, like, hey, where are we going to eat? If I come home and say, hey, we're going to Texas Roadhouse tonight, and then we're going to go see a movie afterwards and all that stuff, then my wife will, I don't get a say in it? So
no.
You have both sides of the coin.
I have an opposing to that. So sure. I'll say what my opposing to it is that you have to do something with her that you know. You know your woman, right?
Like I can go into that. Texas Roadhouse is her favorite restaurant.
Yeah, but I will say this, but for example, like there's so many experiences in life that like, and I'm young, so like I'm honestly feeding off of you guys. So everything I could be saying like 10 years from now, I'll be like, what the hell was I talking about? You know, I could be completely wrong, but
I can't wait for that. I want to go back and do like I want you to be married for 7 years and come back and listen to this and go, huh?
I can see it being tough if you're like in arguments or resentment builds up and then you're like you don't even want to do it. You know I can see being an issue. But you know if you're in a healthy marriage, like I guess from my perspective is I would just like start shitting out different new things, like new experiences.
But I guess it's every woman is different. Like you said, the key thing is knowing your wife, and that's where men lose the art of dating their wife.
Dude,
that's
what I was thinking the whole time.
You lose the art of dating your wife.
Yeah.
I lost the art of dating my wife from times there because I got so comfortable. 25 years. I mean, we can finish each other's sentence.
Right.
I mean, I mean, I don't need to. She can just say, "Hey, we're going here tonight for dinner." I'm like, "How'd you know I was in the mood for that?"
Right.
She goes, "I know it's Wednesday or something." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she just knew me so well, and I knew her so well. So you get to that point, but you get so comfortable in your routines, and both sides of the coin. We as men and as women, we lose the art of dating them. And what I mean by that is like, I mean,
so true.
Do you open the door for your wife every time?
No.
Right? Yeah.
But when we were dating...
But when you were dating, you
every
were.
Time. Yeah.
Like, I love the fact that my son's married to his wife, and he still opens it. Like, she comes home from work, and he'll run outside and open her door. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the world looks at him like, you're whipped.
Yeah.
No. That's the respect and love he has for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We lose that art of doing things for them.
Yeah.
Because we get so comfortable with, well, I've already got the prize.
Right.
You know?
I think about, and I think this totally touches on both things you guys are saying, like, eventually you wake up one day and you go like, I don't know how to flirt with my wife anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right?
I haven't been pursuing her. I haven't been swooning her. When was the last time I came in and did something like you would while you were dating?
Right.
And then you can wake up and years of that has gone by and you go, oh my gosh, like I'm lost in this, and that's when I think those things start to settle in. It's like, then you're like, well, when was the last time we had sex? And it's like, and you can start to kind of like getting these routines and these ruts. And so there is a sense of like self-awareness you have to have, I think, as men, of like, hey, I need to be pursuing her.
Yes.
Like relentlessly pursuing her and loving her. And the door thing is funny because I don't do it every time, but we do have this weird thing about doors where like on our first date, she opened my door for me. And so like she'll do that for me still. And so I'll do that for her sometimes. But no, it's true. Like we just had a season of this where we're talking and my wife told me, she's like, I used to be able to do no wrong in your eyes. Mm-hmm. And now it seems like you can't do anything right.
Right.
And when she said that to me, I was like, oh my God, she's so right. I became nitpicky about all these little things that didn't really matter.
So then you go and dissect why.
Yeah.
Why was that? What did she do to you?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing you see on, let's talk at TikTok, Instagram, social media, all of these things is women have lost respect for men because we're not men. We're toxic if we're men, right? You know, like I watch these guys and all stuff, and you know, he's talking about how he met this girl and he's wants to get married and all stuff, and he's like, he just told her, he goes, and you know, pardon my language and all stuff, he goes, I'll be everything but a bitch. I'm not your little girlfriend. Treat me like a king, and I'll treat you like the queen. I'll treat you like the queen so that you treat me like the king.
Yeah.
You know?
Who is that, Blaine?
It's a little girl.
Yeah, she's probably coming to see if my daughter can play.
I love it. I love it. But it's
no, dude. I want to.
We'll touch on this.
Add on that
because he's not married. He doesn't.
There's a little girl just like dropping off a little phone that your daughter's owned or something. It was like a little toy.
Okay.
She's like, "This is Cassidy and Spence's," and I was like, "Have a good one."
Nice.
She's so sweet.
Yeah. There's like literally 11 girls on the street, and so after school it'll just be all of our houses are just.
That's awesome.
It's amazing, dude.
That's
it's like
how a neighborhood should.
We're so blessed
be.
On the street.
We had that growing up too, man. It was the best,
dude. So back to that thing I was saying about. I forget exactly what you were just saying, but the thing I was saying about the conversation I had with my wife, where she's like, and you look at why that happened, right? So I dissected why it happened for me, and it was exactly what Blaine and I were talking about, right? I had a business fail, and Jen all of a sudden became everything in the household, right? Like I was a mess.
Oh, yeah.
I was not like basically non-functioning. I was like not
depressed, insecure.
Oh, all of the anxiety was so bad. I couldn't
do
do like basic tasks. Like I had my confidence was shattered because I always viewed myself as like my net worth is my self-worth, and me being a provider is directly related to how good of a man and father I am.
Provider, protector, priest, prophet of the home.
Yeah.
That's what we're raised
so when you fail and you lose the family home, you just get destroyed.
100%.
And so there was a period of years where I became so selfish because I was hurting so bad. I'm like, can't you see what I'm going through to try to like... And so that's where it started. And what happened was and she's like, you just met her. She's the greatest. Like she was so supportive and loving through the whole thing, and she just kept carrying me through this. And we've talked about this before. But like, when we got out of the financial hardship and we built everything back and we had the house and we had the money and everything came back, I never got out of that selfish, scarce state. I was still like, well, I'm working so hard. Why aren't you doing this? And why? And it became more of like, why aren't you doing this for me when I should have been asking, what could I be doing for you?
Oh, yeah. Because she carried you. It's funny you say that I had an epiphany right now that is a big part of what went wrong in my marriage.
Really?
Wait, what do you mean? Like she didn't carry you, or she did carry you?
No, she did. We lost our company. We lost our business. We had to move in with her mom. We lost everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I was so self-absorbed and so into my deal that when we came out of it, I continued to be that selfish and needy. To be honest, I was needy. I was so needy, and like, honestly, I probably had my identity wrapped up around her. You know, I couldn't do anything without her.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, I need her, I want her, da da da.
Yeah.
You know, not realizing she had no freedom.
Yeah.
You know, I consumed all of her life.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
That was, crazy.
Man, that is crazy.
I mean, you guys are in a different position than me. I went through that, and I didn't go with what you guys went through. I never got the support.
Yeah.
It was you're in a low place right now. Like, goodbye.
Yeah.
What is your guys' thought on that? Like, how did you guys? You know, it sounds like you guys got a good picker.
Oh, I mean, he's got an amazing wife, and I'll tell you on camera, my wife was amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then the power of influence of friend comes into it, and then that's where things go sideways.
Yeah.
Satan's smart.
Yeah.
The number one thing he wants to do right now is destroy families. Because you got to remember, family is an example of who Christ is.
Yeah.
The union of a husband and wife becoming one is a picture of Christ.
Well, and what's interesting is, and this has been amazing on our journey, to touch on that, one of my buddies told me a long time ago that in a marriage, you know, you're either growing together or growing apart, and you really want to be growing in a direction toward Jesus, because if you're focused on Jesus as the focal point, you're going to be okay. And if you don't have that, or like Satan creeps in, or there's another
100%.
influence, something, that's when things go awry. And Jen and I, for the first like 10 years of not our marriage, but the first 10 years of dating and marriage, we didn't go to church. We were both burned out on religion. I was raised super hardcore Catholic. She was raised super hardcore LDS. And we were both like, the last place we want to be is the church.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
hey, we can't decide which one to go to.
Right, yeah. But then when we had kids, we're like, okay, we do want them to know Jesus. We both agreed on that. And we both agreed that, like, we want to raise them in some type of religious environment, but not the ones we had.
Yeah.
They just didn't serve us. You know, and there's nothing, I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying for us, it wasn't.
We can get into that.
Yeah. For us, it wasn't getting us closer to Jesus or helping us. When we started going to church and we started being all in and I commend Jen the most because she was burnt out more than me. Like, I was the one kind of pushing us to get back into a church, and we were church shopping, but she was so burnt out on it. She was very hesitant to open her heart again. But when she opened her heart and I opened my heart, and it became about God first, our marriage has changed, like, overnight, drastically.
Yeah, we call it the triangle effect because you're over here, she's over here, God's here. If you both are growing towards God, you have no choice but to grow together.
Yeah.
But the problem is when one's growing to Christ and the other's going over here, you still have that gap of separation of a parallel line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're not growing together.
I look back on the years when we weren't doing that, and I think, oh my God, how amazing is it that we were able to maintain such a great marriage without that?
Right?
I think we just got lucky.
But I think that's the world of today is,
you know,
they...
But if you never get there, I think, like, how could you sustain that? You know?
Well, once you get to that point and you're growing closer together, like, you realize the bond between the two of you is what we saw in that little interaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That absolute love for one another.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't leave without giving me a kiss. Like, you
right.
know, the little things that impact. The love of your kids. And, you know, I mean, it's...
Thanks, man.
No, I mean,
I appreciate it.
The minute and a half or whatever sitting here, it's awesome to watch. I mean... Our jobs are to read people. You know what I mean? In business, right? You can read a room in a matter of the first 5 seconds to see the dynamics that's going on. Kids comfortable with just a stranger here crawling under the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good dynamic of a family.
Yeah.
They're not hiding, they're not afraid, they know this is a safe zone, they know they're safe here, that mom and dad aren't going to bring anybody around that's not.
Right.
I mean, there's so much that goes on in that little interaction.
Dude, I appreciate that. We do spend a lot of time talking about core values, the people you want to have around you in your life, the people like that are going to help create you closer to God and help you, you know, and so...
And they sense it better than we ever do.
Oh, yeah. They vibrate at a whole other level.
Oh, yeah.
They sense... Yeah.
Why do you think the Bible says to have faith like a child?
Yeah.
It doesn't have faith like a 50-year-old, 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
It says have the unconditional faith because they believe because they haven't been corrupted by all of the crap that they're going to go. We learn doubt. We learn pain. We learn fear. We learn all of those things. You tell them that that's blue. They don't know any different. They believe it's blue.
Yeah.
They tell you Christ is the way to heaven. They're going to believe it.
Yeah.
Because that's... You know,
they haven't learned that. That's seeing my little girls take what they're learning in like Sunday school and like the Bible. That's like the greatest. Like when my daughter was just like, "Bless you, Kevin."
Yeah, I know. It's like,
it's like, where did that go? Like, that's awesome.
May the Lord bless you. May the Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious.
I was like, awesome, dude. Like,
I'm like, man, I just got blessed by a 7-year-old.
Yeah, she came in and it was like,
I feel like, wow.
Cool. So you guys are some pretty hefty entrepreneurs. Like you guys have touched some good money, and so I really to
so have you.
Yes.
But
you guys got some years on me and some pretty qualified experience that I can vet and say that the things that you guys have told me have not only changed my life but improved it. What advice would you give to women who are, you know, there's this huge culture going around and it's like, I want a rich man. I want a guy who's wealthy. I want a man who makes all the money.
Dude.
Right? You hear this all the time. What advice can you give to women listening to this? And this is coming from two people who've touched some money.
I want to hear your opinion first.
Okay.
Who want to be with a man who's an entrepreneur. What's it really like?
When we decided to start our business, the first thing I did was I had Jen and I get on Zoom calls with other husbands and wives so she could see what she was about to sign up for on her side. Mm-hmm. Because I knew what we were going to go into because I'd been talking to a lot of other entrepreneurs, but she hadn't. And I was expecting her to make this leap with me, being like, hey, we got a steady, great income to now we're on our own. And
now it's commission based only, baby.
Yeah, now it's like, hey, you better be producing or you're in trouble, right?
You might get $30,000 1 month and $3 the next.
Yeah, or negative $30,000 next. Yeah. So we went through that, and what's interesting is I feel like a lot of women do find those attributes attractive in a male: a go-getter, a provider, somebody that can provide a nice lifestyle. But what they have to understand is if you want that, there's going to be sacrifice and things that come with that, right? Like, if you want a man who's going to be able to produce and be a go-getter, like, yeah, he's gonna mess some stuff up in some other areas. Like, he's not gonna be present in other areas, like that you may want him to be as well. So I'm not saying that like there should be a pass to that. I think that we need to hold ourselves accountable as men who are entrepreneurs if we care about the women in our life. But I think those women have to recognize like those attributes don't just come for free. Like, there's a huge cost to having a go-getter. Like, you know, like,
what do you think are some of those costs?
Like, they're gonna have to recognize that, like, you know, a person of that magnitude that I've seen is generally pretty obsessive compulsive. Like, they're obsessed. Like, if you want to be at that level of success, you are living in it 24/7. And that can get stale for some women. Like, they don't want to talk about your business all the time. Like, they want to talk about other things, you know? And so, you know, that's a minor example. But I think the other big examples are going to be like, hey, they're going to push themselves to a level that a lot of people won't. Like, you're going to see your other husbands in the neighborhood who are, like, out chilling, relaxing, having a beer.
Yeah.
When your husband was up all night working, yeah, he may not be mentally and emotionally available to you to hear about your day, you know, and that's going to happen, you know, and it's an ebb and flow, and it's hard. That's my take on it is there's...
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And that's a key thing is, for the lack of better words, everything comes at a cost. You know what I mean? And it's about sacrifices and stuff. And now, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I think if a girl wants to get married and have a man be the provider of a home and be a stay-at-home mom and do all those things, I think that's the way it should be. I think that's what God intended it to be. I mean, read Proverbs 31, but it talks about a woman that tills the field, does these things. I mean, all these things. She's there for the home and present and doing those things. But you have... Why is it bad that, I don't know, man, I'm really cautious of how I'm going to say this. You know, I don't think it's bad that if a girl wants to marry for the money, you know what I mean? Because if she wants that, okay, and she wants that lifestyle, and she wants that, then she better be the woman that guy needs. You know what I mean? And that type A is probably way higher sex drive, because they operate on a testosterone and a dopamine level that is high. You know, so that sex is going to be there once a day, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. Who knows? You know, whatever that is for that man. You know? And so that has to be present. Or those other things will fade away. You got to have a great support system. You know? I mean...
Aside from sex, what are the things that you could recommend women that they
Dude,
need?
the most beautiful... my favorite post I've ever seen on social media, it's got like 26 million views. Some husband and wife made this post, and it was like... He's like, I take care of her outer world. She takes care of my inner world. Have you seen this post?
Oh,
yeah.
And she's like, you know, he brings the ingredients. I make it a meal. He provides the house.
That is
I make it a home. Like,
favorite...
Dude,
post out there. Like, it couldn't get any more defined.
It's so beautiful.
On what a true partnership looks like.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But why do we fault women for wanting security? That's their number one thing.
Yeah.
Why do we fault them for that?
Yeah.
I mean, that should be our job, to provide that stable home so that they can be that mom. They can be that wife. They can be that PTO president. They can do all of these things that really what we want them to be. I don't want someone else, a daycare, raising my kids. You know what I mean? I want my wife raising my kids. I picked her for her values, our joint deal. Same agreement on what we're doing. I don't need a woman ever to work. I don't ever want a woman to work.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't, and I'm just going to say this may be over the line for some people, but I don't think that that's wrong, because if you can provide that for her, you're not doing it so she can be this like lazy princess housewife.
No.
You're doing it so she can show up as her best self, because
100%.
she's with the kids most of the time.
Dude, I wouldn't want her job.
Right.
Honestly,
no.
like,
I told Jen that last night. I was like, I could not do your job.
Dude,
and
they've done a study. They're a taxi, they're a chef, they're a maid, they're a teacher. I mean...
We went on vacation once, and Jen's like, when we go on vacation, you take a break from your coworkers and clients. My clients are with me 24/7. I never get a break, you know?
They don't get a break.
Yeah, and
so what do you say, though, to the women who will get with a man? Because I like your thinking, because I agree. I think that a man should provide for a woman. And
100%.
And we're all go-getters here, right? We all make, you know, there's money that's being made, and a lot that's going to be produced, right?
Right.
And so Like as it relates to the like you mentioned, there's 1 month that's 30,000, and then 1 month that's 3. What advice could you give to a woman that when you have that period where it's temporary, right, and it's low, to explain to her, hey, like this doesn't last forever, and it's going
that goes
to
into
happen.
a fiscal, and you're going to have to speak into that because I can speak into the fiscal side. That's where you as a couple have to live within your means. In today's society, we don't do that at all.
Right.
Everybody is financed on their vehicles. Everybody's financed to the tilt. We're walking around with, Louis Vuittons, these nice clothes, all this fancy stuff because we want everybody to think this about us. Like you talked about social media, like that's the worst. You're supposed to look like this, dress like this, wear this stuff, be this. Man, that is the biggest lie from Satan. Like, it doesn't make a difference in any of that stuff. I would give all that stuff up just to have a happy, humble marriage and a home of loving one another and peace in the home and raising my boys and my kids to have that. Now, I like nice things. I don't mind working hard for that. But it can't become my God. It can't become my idol.
Your idol, yeah.
My identity can't be in the cars that I drive or the business that I own, or the products I produce. My identity is in Christ, first and foremost. Second, my identity is in my family. It's the coolest thing in the world when we would go out as a family. We'd go out to dinner, and, there's 8 of us, and sometimes there was 10 because I had a couple of nieces, with us. And our family's, like, at a dinner table, and we're all laughing, and we're having fun at this restaurant. And we've had old couples come up, like, we watched you guys. Like, what are you doing different?
That's so cool.
That no one's yelling, no one's cussing, no one's on their phones, you know what I mean? Why is it different? Well, it's the Christ in us. We've raised our kids differently, as a team, as a couple. My marriage failed because we lost the team. We lost our focus on Christ and put it on ourselves. But for a woman to want those things is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we put that as gold digger and all this stuff. We should have every man out there. Let's go back in time.
Wait. Your answer's getting a little confusing. You say things in a very broad intellect. So
your question was, how do you give advice to women when there's those seasons of highs and lows?
That was the question.
That's a hard one because
I'm trying to think. It might be just a lack of intellect, but also you did make a great point, which is like you have all this persuasion from social media, basically saying you're not supposed to have low seasons, which is delusion.
Oh,
it's delusion.
It's straight from hell.
If there was no low seasons, then everyone would be fucking rich.
But is your question
Right?
like, if a woman's priority is security and you're entering a journey of entrepreneurship, which is the ultimate financial risk?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
How do you help give them like comfort or guidance through that season?
Yes.
I don't know if I can speak to that because my wife was that for me during that season. So she was the rock and I was the.
then that might be the answer in itself. It's just like if you're with a woman who isn't going to be with you during those low seasons, she's the wrong one.
Dude, my wife was with me through bankruptcy, on welfare, everything.
Wow.
That makes me feel amazing.
Yeah. No, my wife was with me through. We lost everything. Lived with her mom.
Yeah.
We lost it all, and she was still with me. That's what kills me of why I'm separated out. We've gone to hell and back. Literally hell and back. The worst of the worst.
What can we do? Like, if is she watching this? What's her name?
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
She won't see it.
Hey, Kevin's a good guy.
No, she is a great woman as well. She is equally, probably better.
Yeah.
You know
what's cool about our relationship, Kevin, is that in the time you've shared with us everything about your divorce, you've always held her in such a respect and spoken of her like she's a child of God. Like
she is.
Yeah, you've never once degraded or said anything. I've never heard you say anything disrespectful at all. So
worst decisions I've made of causing her to get to the point of where she's at. Yeah. Now, granted, she's responsible for her own actions. She did walk out. We can fight over that if she's listening to this. Yeah. That's our biggest fight. Like, she's like, you told me to leave. I'm like, well, you left.
Yeah.
And I told you to leave, and, a day later I said, I was wrong. I was mad. I spoke out of anger, and you left 90 days later. It's a different. Look, their life is about security, okay? That's most women in the world. And so the question you ask is, how do you help them get through that phase of lack of security, right?
Yeah.
So in those times when you have the wherewithal and the means, okay, in sales, I mean, dude, there's months I've made nothing. There's months I've made $100,000. Well, the problem with me sometimes, I made $100,000 and I'm like, new truck, and she wants me to be happy because I worked hard to get there.
Yeah.
So selfishly, I went and got the new truck. Our fight was over. We made a lot of money in COVID. I bought a new truck, a new boat, a new car, all these things. I went hog heaven because I finally got to pick off the goals that were on my list. Mm-hmm. Instead of being smart and say, okay, so we made this money. Let's go invest that money and double our money and do those things. And my wife ran the finances of the company and the books forever. Mm. I didn't touch it until the separation, until October of 22.
Wow. Yeah, see, and that's interesting to me is who runs the finances in the household. Uh-huh. That's always a big thing for me, and I always try to figure that out.
Oh,
because
really?
There's studies that show that you're much more statistically likely to do well if the women run the finances.
100%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a great book called The Millionaire Next Door.
Really?
And they prove that
I must have the worst picker in the world.
They prove, but you know what's weird is I run the finances in my house. My wife has zero interest in finance. Like
that's okay because that's the world you live in.
Yeah,
I mean your world is finance. My wife was in the banking industry.
Yeah,
she was much better on it. I balanced a checkbook. I wrote a check for $19.30. It was $20. You know what I mean? So I rounded up, so drove her nuts.
Not to lean off too much.
That's like a bookkeeper's nightmare.
Not to lean off too much of that original question, but the thesis of what I'm hearing from you guys, and this is good for me, man. You know,
that's the benefit of this,
I'm trying
dude.
to find my wife.
It's different guys.
This is it.
We're all in different seasons of life. We all have different things and different perspectives to add.
Yeah. But what I'm picking up on this is like and also this goes for any women watching. Like if you want an entrepreneur, be prepared for a season because that's where they kick in gear.
Be prepared to support him because
to support him.
They can make or break your entrepreneur.
Bro, that happened in my last
100%.
relationship. Bro, I hate to get personal, but I literally was building a multi-million-dollar company. It could have turned into something crazy, and I'm happy I ended up selling it. But it had no moral basis. It lacked morals, and so that's why I ended up getting rid of it. But dude, on my way up to the launch, bro, I had her in my ear saying, you can't afford my nails. Like, you can't afford my hair. You can't take me to a nice restaurant. Like, you're a bum. You're never going to be... Like, dude, she would say the most horrific things to me. Bro, like
I don't care how good
she never ever looked at me and would say, you got this. You can get through this. Dude, she was... like I said, bro, I made a mistake. But it is what it is. And I do believe, looking back on it, it's completely my fault. It was a lust issue. Because I was completely just going for hot sex and just stuff like that, and it's like that bit me in the butt so hard, man. So I know you guys are being vulnerable.
It's the flip side of what we're talking about, right?
It's literally the opposing side,
right?
Like, but it fucks with you mentally, dude. Like, if I had a woman in my
how could it not,
bro? Like when you have a woman saying that to you that you're trying to be with, dude,
that is so damaging to you as a man,
bro.
Because it says I don't respect you, I don't appreciate you. And, like, come on, man. You see all the stuff that's out there. Just short of equal, if not even more important than sex, is respect.
Yeah.
You know, and respect isn't like, okay, I respect you. And my wife and I had big arguments of like, well, wouldn't you say thank you every time you buy us dinner? No, it's not. Saying thank you every time I buy you dinner. But it's about appreciate the sacrifices I make.
Yeah.
Appreciate the she always says, well, like, you're going out to, Phoenix to go hang out and do a podcast, and I'm like, okay, I make it fun.
Yeah.
I go to Chicago. She goes, well, you're in Chicago for, 3 days or whatever. I'm like, that was hell. I had speed dating for buyers, meeting somebody every 10 minutes, and that was it, on to the next. And you only had like a 60 or a 10-minute break every 60 minutes. Like, but you make it fun. Mm-hmm. It's a mindset change. So if I go in there thinking, oh my God, this is miserable, I got to go to work, and I got to go do this, I got to, woe is me, I got to meet with all these people. Well, your outcome's going to look like that. People are going to read through that in talking to buyers. Yeah. But if she comes in, it's like, oh man, honey, what can I do? We used to be so cute at it of like, she'd pack notes when I travel, or I would leave to go on a trip, and I would literally have a greeting card with a gift card in there. Like, one of the times I was like, here's to your favorite nail place. Here's for you and my daughter to go get nails done. Here's for your favorite coffee place. Here's your favorite,
that's the
things. That's the stuff that we as men can't forget.
Yeah.
Because that little things that you do for them, that doesn't say, well, she got a free coffee or got her nails done, whatever. It says you took the time to know what she liked, where she liked to go, what she did, and that you appreciated her so much that you went and took the time to get all that stuff and set it up for her. Not the fact that you bought that in the monetary, that doesn't mean jack twiddly to them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The fact that you sacrificed and did those things is what makes a difference. So for a woman to do that to you and get into your head and say, you're nothing, you can't afford my nails, you can't do all this stuff. Dude, like, run. Yeah. You can't run. Get in the Tesla, charge up, get as far away as you can, brother.
Yeah. I know. And if the Tesla's not charged, run.
If your Tesla's not charged, start running. If your feet hurt, run harder.
Yeah. Get a bus pass.
I fucked up.
No, you didn't. Because you learned now what you need to look for.
Yeah.
You know what not to. That's a Harvard education with pain.
Yeah.
That's pain that's going to last.
Yeah.
But now you learn when you go for that next one, that when God handpicks that woman for you, that's going to be your first thing.
Oh, it's already been different. I've been talking to Dan about this. Like, the women in my life, like, are, like, I just didn't know they existed. It was, like, foreign to me. And so I'm able to recognize, like, healthy, like, love and healthy, like a sense of security in yourself and other people now, which is cool. But I'm curious, where do you think that comes from?
What?
When a woman acts like that, who says things like that, where do you think that stems from?
Man, dude, like, you can get into the past of that and the insecurities that they have. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not going to get deep in that. I can give you my own opinions and stuff.
I'm curious.
But, I mean, there's a lot of deep issues on there of their own insecurities, that they're fighting and all that stuff. And they have been taught for negative reinforcement. And so they're thinking negative reinforcement is going to get you to like, oh my God, I can't do this for her. You talked about it earlier about fear. I can't provide for her. I need to do this. I'm not really done. I got to work harder. How can I? No, dude, that's like a crock of crap. Yeah. I mean, if she would have went in your ear and said, babe, look, I know we can't do the nails right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make something. We'll make some dinner or something. We're going to stay home at a date night and watch a movie. And, I know you're sacrificing all that stuff. Dude, for the lack of better words, the guilt that you were going to have that you can't go do those things, you're going to put that guilt on yourself first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
You're already going to feel that pressure and pain of doing that. So, but the fact that she does that and you look that you have someone that's supporting you through that, oh my God, like I would move mountains for a woman that tells me, man, I'm with you. You can do this. You are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Kevin, get back on track. How can I help you? What can we do? Like, I would be like, oh my God, like, let's do this.
Yeah. It would take you...
It takes you to a level of confidence
that
you think you can conquer the world.
So you think it's for parenting?
I think...
Oh, dude, most of our issues... I used to say this out loud. I'll suck it up, Buttercup. It's the past. Whatever happened with you as a kid, I realized our past and the things that happened as kids really plays a part into who we are as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
I realize with my own kids, like, I catch myself treating my kids like crap, and I think to myself, oh my God, this scar I just put on my child is going to last for 30 years.
What you're saying in shortened terms is like parents ruin their children's lives.
Dude,
not all of them, but some can.
No. Parents don't ruin their children's lives. Because there is that point of a time where you have to be accountable for your own actions and the things that are
right.
Okay? But the things that happened in the past do shape things in your future. But now at a point, you do have to choose, are you going to deal with that? And that goes back to forgiveness. I forgive my parents for the things that they did to me. My dad for beating us as a kid. My mom for the manipulation and the things that she did when she was younger. They don't know what they don't know. I mean, come on. My mom wasn't a Christian until I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even then, she's a baby Christian, and doesn't even know the things that they're doing wrong. We have to take accountable for our own actions, but learn from the past. So you talked about it earlier. My favorite clip from a Disney movie is Simba is coming back and he's sitting there and he's walking back to the jungle and he runs back into Rafiki. And Rafiki is the monkey. And he's got his stick. And he's sitting there and he's like, oh, I can't go back. And Rafiki's like, you've got to go back. This is your lineage. This is who you're going to be. This is your destiny. And he's like, no, I did so much. My dad, you don't understand. And boom, he whacks him on the head. He's like, what was that for? He goes, what difference does it make? It's in the past. And so then they're talking again. And all of a sudden Rafiki swings and Simba, boom, grabs it. Or dodges it. And he's like, you've learned from your past. So it's such a simple little cartoon.
Yeah.
But dude, amazing. That's an amazing book.
Yeah, dude. So you
gave me that. And I've been reading that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought I gave you a copy of this. Yeah. This is one of my favorite books. I reread it like several times a year. But dude, this is what you just said. That question. I want to actually read this one little piece, and I know this would be boring on a podcast, but this is exactly what I'm thinking. It says,
"Wait, read the title of the book real quick."
Okay, so the book is "Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters," which I think is like the ultimate book. Yeah, if you have a daughter. But
I'm going to give it to my boys.
It said, "Here's a thought that will make the hair stand up your hair stand up on end. You, Dad, are a template for all male figures, teachers, boyfriends, her husband, uncles, and even God himself in your daughter's life." Like, think about that responsibility.
Oh.
So and there's so many crappy dads
everywhere
who just don't take interest in their daughters, and it really damages them. It's hard. It's really hard. They look to their dad as that figure, and
you know what's funny is I've actually realized there's fathers that I've met who are present, but they're not present.
Well, present physically, present spiritually, emotionally are two totally different.
Yeah, if a father is not present spiritually and emotionally, the daughter's destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed. If the father's there, he's like, I have money, she's done. And maybe that's the reason why they act like that. That might be the telltale rat.
We were literally just talking about that on the break. I was saying, like, I realized this week my daughter told me, like, hey, Dad, you're present, but you're not present, and dude, that cuts you to the core because you realize you're like, you think you're checking the boxes, but it's not about checking boxes. It's about being intentional and actually like being there and being present with them. It's a totally different feeling.
Yeah. Dude, I hit it this week. My daughter's pregnant, and we've
congratulations
thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm really excited. She's due in April.
That's cool.
And we've struggled over the last couple of years through the separation. And my daughter is strong-willed. My wife jokes. She goes, "I got one girl out of 6 of them, and she's just like you." Hard-headed, stubborn, all these things. But long story short, we've struggled in our relationship the last couple of years, and it hit me the other day. Like, she's pregnant. Like, we've had some differences of opinions through all of this stuff.
Good boyfriend, good husband.
Oh, husband is like, dude, my wife could not have married, or my daughter could not have married a better man.
Good.
Like, so awesome.
Dude, like, he is a hand-picked gift from God. And I'll tell him that. And I even told him when he was going to, marry my daughter. You can ask him, and I'll tell it on the podcast. I warned him, are you sure? I think like 7 times. Do you want to marry her? She is going to be a handful.
Wait, you said this to him?
To him. And I'm like...
That's what's so crazy, bro.
I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? And I've said it to my daughter.
Oh, my God.
I said it in front of him. I said, because she is a force to be reckoned. She's my daughter. I raised her to be an entrepreneur, an overachiever, a go-getter. Don't take anybody's crap. I mean, I raised her to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Go after it. And so, but he is unbelievable. But long story short, I went back and I realized that I'm being hurt. Because that's really what it is. Yeah. I was hurt by the things that happened, in our argument and things and stuff. And so I used the anger as the mask, right, to justify it and stuff. And I sat there, I literally was in bed, and I just stopped and I texted her. And I was just like, hey, I know you're going to Mexico. Who's got your dog? Let me watch the dog again. Let me take that burden and that stress off of you. And she's like, no, we got it. And, and I said, well, we need to get together and do something. I need to be the person that goes after her. She's the daughter. It's my responsibility as the father to not wait for her to come to me and say you're sorry or any of those things. It doesn't make a difference.
Bro,
it's over a stupid car.
Bro, what you're saying is insane. And it proves you're a great father, by the way. Both of you guys. Like, you guys, I get to lean on this for my daughter, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so awesome. And I've chosen this way because I want to intake as much information as I can. But, bro, My last relationship, I was engaged, and it didn't go right, right? Rightfully so, after what I've explained.
Yeah.
But, dude, when I asked her dad for his permission for her hand, he just said yes. Nothing else. He didn't talk to me. He didn't pull me to the side. He didn't ask me questions. He didn't say, like, how are you going to do this? Why?
Yeah.
Like, we never had a one-on-one, dude. So it's like, hearing this from you, and if he's watching this, worst father I've ever met in my fucking life. Worst father I've ever met.
How do you really feel
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Bro, like, he's the worst father until I've ever, and I've met a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
I don't hate people, but Jesus Christ. Like,
Hey, Jesus Christ had nothing to do with it.
no, literally.
You can say the F word. You can do something, and I'll let it slide. But you've said GD once, and you said JC, so now I'm going to step in.